Captain Sarah Chen gripped the armrest of her command chair as the massive alien vessel materialized on the view screen. The ship was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. A crystalline structure that seemed to bend light around itself, easily 10 times the size of their exploration vessel, the UES Horizon. "Ma'am, we're detecting energy signatures off the charts," reported Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station. "Whatever their power source is, it makes our fusion reactors look like campfires." Sarah had been commanding deep space missions for 12 years, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. Humanity had been searching for intelligent life for centuries, and now it had found them, or rather, it had found humanity. "Communications, any response to our hails?" she asked, keeping her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Nothing yet, Captain, but wait." Ensign Park's fingers danced across his console. "I'm picking up something. It's not radio waves or any frequency we recognize. It's almost like they're transmitting directly into our computers." The main screen flickered, and suddenly symbols appeared. Complex geometric patterns that shifted and evolved before their eyes. Then, impossibly, the symbols began to rearrange themselves into recognizable letters and numbers. "Greetings, humans of the vessel Horizon. We are the Veiltar. Your species has been observed. Prepare for examination." Sarah felt her blood run cold. The message was polite but carried an unmistakable tone of authority. "Examination?" Before anyone could respond, a soft blue light enveloped the bridge. Sarah felt a tingling sensation, as if every atom in her body was being gently probed. The light passed through walls and equipment, scanning everything with clinical precision. "Captain, they're doing the same thing throughout the entire ship," reported Commander Williams, her first officer. "Whatever this is, it's incredibly advanced. Our shields might as well be tissue paper." The scanning light faded after several minutes, leaving the crew feeling slightly disoriented. The alien ship remained motionless, but Sarah could sense they were being evaluated in ways she couldn't comprehend. Another message appeared on their screen. "Fascinating. Your species shows remarkable adaptability despite primitive technology. We detect no hostile intent, merely curiosity. This is unexpected." Sarah exchanged glances with her senior staff. She had trained for first contact scenarios, but this wasn't how any of them had imagined it would go. The aliens seemed genuinely surprised by something about humanity. "Open a channel," she ordered. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding. May we know why you find us unexpected?" The response came quickly. "Your neural patterns are unlike any we have encountered in 3 million years of space travel. Most species at your technological level exhibit fear, aggression, or immediate submission when confronted with superior force. You display curiosity above all else. This requires investigation." Dr. Elena Vasquez, the ship's xenobiologist, leaned forward in her seat. "Captain, I think we're dealing with a species that's used to finding the same types of civilizations over and over. We might represent something new to them." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its diversity of thought and adaptability. Perhaps that was what had caught the aliens' attention. "We would be honored to share our knowledge with you," Sarah transmitted back, "though we understand our technology is primitive compared to yours." "Technology is merely tools," came the reply. "What interests us is how you think, how you solve problems, how you interact with the unknown. We have monitored your species for several of your decades. Your response to challenges is unique." The alien ship began to move closer, and Sarah could see smaller vessels emerging from its crystalline structure. Each one was still larger than the Horizon, but they moved with a fluid grace that defied physics as humanity understood it. "We wish to invite a small group aboard our vessel," the message continued. This has not been offered to any species in recent memory. You will be safe, though we cannot guarantee you will be unchanged by the experience." Sarah felt the weight of history on her shoulders. This decision would affect not just her crew, but potentially all of humanity. She looked around the bridge at faces filled with wonder, fear, and determination in equal measure. "Dr. Vasquez, Commander Williams, Lieutenant Torres, and myself will represent humanity," she decided. "If we're about to make history, we'll do it together." As they prepared for transport, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the aliens were more interested in humanity than they were letting on. The Veiltar spoke of examination and investigation, but there was something else in their communications, a sense of anticipation, as if they had been waiting for this moment. The transporter beam that took them to the alien vessel was unlike anything in human technology. Instead of the crude matter-energy conversion systems humanity had theorized about, this felt more like stepping through a doorway between spaces. One moment they were on the Horizon's bridge, the next they stood in a vast chamber that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The Veiltar themselves were even more remarkable than their technology. They appeared as beings of pure energy contained within crystalline frameworks, their thoughts visible as patterns of light that flowed through their translucent forms. When they communicated, it was through direct neural interface rather than speech. "Welcome, humans," their host's thoughts resonated in their minds. "I am Keeper Zethmore. We have observed many species reach the threshold of interstellar travel. Most follow predictable patterns: expansion, conquest, or isolation. Your species does none of these things consistently. This anomaly requires understanding." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overriding any fear. "What makes us different from other species you've encountered?" The patterns within Zethmore's crystalline form shifted, displaying what could only be described as amusement. "You adapt without losing your core nature. You compete without destroying. You create beauty alongside utility. Most remarkably, you maintain hope in the face of overwhelming odds. These traits are rare." As they toured the vast alien ship, Sarah began to understand the scope of the Veiltar civilization. They had explored galaxies, witnessed the rise and fall of countless civilizations, and accumulated knowledge spanning millions of years. Yet something about humanity had captured their attention in a way that defied their vast experience. "Your species is at a critical juncture," Zethmore explained as they stood before a viewing port showing the swirling cosmos beyond. "Most civilizations either stagnate at your current level or destroy. The 3 months had passed since Captain Chen and her team returned to Earth with news that would reshape human civilization. The world's governments had been in constant session. Scientists worked around the clock, and every news network ran continuous coverage of humanity's first contact with an advanced alien race. The Veiltar had established a permanent presence in Earth's solar system, positioning their massive ships near Jupiter, where they could monitor human progress without interfering directly. They had made it clear that any technological gifts would be earned, not freely given. Dr. Elena Vasquez stood in the newly constructed Xenological Research Center in Geneva, surrounded by the most brilliant minds humanity could assemble. The challenge before them seemed impossible: demonstrate that humanity could handle advanced technology responsibly. "The problem isn't understanding their science," Dr. James Harrison, a theoretical physicist, said as he studied the holographic displays showing Veiltar technology. "It's proving we won't use it to destroy ourselves." "Or each other," added Dr. Amara Okafor, a sociologist who had been studying the psychological impact of the contact. "Already we're seeing nations trying to gain exclusive access to alien technology. The old patterns of competition are emerging." Elena nodded grimly. The past months had revealed both the best and worst of humanity. While scientists collaborated like never before and ordinary people showed remarkable adaptability to the new reality, politicians and military leaders were already planning how to gain advantage over their rivals. The Veiltar had given humanity a simple test: work together to solve three fundamental problems using only current human technology: eliminate poverty, stop environmental destruction, and achieve lasting peace between nations. Only when these were accomplished would they share the knowledge that could take humanity to the stars. "They're not asking us to become perfect," Elena mused, reviewing Keeper Zethmore's exact words again. "They're asking us to prove we can grow beyond our current limitations." The genius of the test was becoming clear. The Veiltar weren't interested in humanity's technical capabilities. Those could be enhanced with their technology. They wanted to see if humans could evolve their social and cultural systems to handle the responsibility that came with galactic-level power. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, an entirely different kind of progress was being made. Dr. Chen had been appointed as Earth's primary liaison with the Veiltar, and she spent her days in deep communication with Keeper Zethmore aboard a small Veiltar vessel that had taken up residence underwater. "Your species continues to surprise us," Zethmore communicated as they observed Earth's progress through advanced sensors. "Most civilizations either unite immediately under external pressure or fragment into competing factions. Humanity is doing both simultaneously." Chen studied the data streams showing global developments. "We've always been contradictory. We fight wars and write poetry about peace. We destroy forests and plant gardens in cities. Maybe that's what you find interesting about us." "Precisely." Zethmore's crystalline form pulsed with what Chen had learned to recognize as excitement. "Contradiction implies the capacity for change. Most advanced species reach a state of perfect logical consistency and become stagnant. They stop growing." Through their neural link, Chen began to understand something profound about the Veiltar. They had achieved technological mastery millions of years ago, but in doing so, they had lost something essential. They had become observers rather than participants in the universe's ongoing creation. "You're lonely," Chen realized suddenly. "For all your advancement, you've lost the ability to surprise yourselves." "An astute observation," Zethmore replied. "We have seen the patterns repeat across galaxies. Species reach technological maturity and either destroy themselves or achieve perfect order. Both outcomes lead to stagnation. We have been searching for a third path." Back on Earth, that third path was beginning to emerge in unexpected ways. The global effort to meet the Veiltar challenge had sparked innovations that went beyond mere technological advancement. Communities were reorganizing around principles of sustainability and cooperation, not because they were forced to, but because the possibility of joining a galactic civilization had given them hope for the future. Dr. Vasquez watched news reports from around the world with growing amazement. In Brazil, former enemies were working together to restore the Amazon rainforest using revolutionary new techniques. In the Middle East, water desalination projects were being shared between nations that had been at war for decades. In Africa, educational programs were spreading like wildfire as people realized their children might one day walk on distant worlds. "It's not happening everywhere," Dr. Okafor cautioned as they reviewed the global data. "There are still conflicts, still those who resist change. The old power structures don't want to give up control." "But look at the numbers," Dr. Harrison interjected, pulling up statistical models. "Every month, fewer people are living in poverty. Environmental indicators are improving at an unprecedented rate. Most remarkably, military spending is declining globally as nations redirect resources toward the common challenges." The transformation wasn't perfect or complete, but it was real. Humanity was demonstrating something that apparently no other species had achieved: the ability to change its fundamental nature while retaining its essential character. Keeper Zethmore had been observing these developments with growing fascination. The neural link with Captain Chen had given the Veil Tar unprecedented insight into human consciousness, and what they found there defied their understanding of evolutionary psychology. Your species maintains hope in situations where logic suggests despair, Zethmore observed during one of their regular communications. This trait has allowed rapid adaptation without the psychological breakdown we observe in other species facing existential challenges. Chen smiled at that. We've always been good at impossible things. Maybe because we're too stubborn to accept that they're impossible. There is wisdom in that perspective, Zethmore replied. We have calculated the probability of your species meeting our challenge at approximately 12.7%. Yet current progress suggests you will not only meet it, but exceed it. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A group of children at an international school had been following the global challenges and decided to create their own solutions using a combination of advanced computer modeling and simple human insight. Their proposals were so elegant and practical that they were immediately adopted by several major governments. Children, Dr. Vasquez marveled as she read their reports. Of course, they haven't learned that certain things are supposed to be impossible. The children's solutions didn't rely on new technology or complex economic theories. Instead, they focused on changing fundamental assumptions about how human societies should organize themselves. Their poverty elimination plan was based on abundance rather than scarcity thinking. Their environmental restoration projects worked with natural systems rather than against them. Their peace proposals focused on shared goals rather than the division of limited resources. Within 6 months of the children's interventions, global progress accelerated dramatically. The Veil Tar watched with what could only be described as delight as humanity approached the threshold they had set. But the real test was yet to come. As Earth neared success on the 3 challenges, a new question emerged. What would humanity do with the power that would soon be within their grasp? Captain Chen found herself spending more time in deep communion with Keeper Zethmore, exploring not just human nature, but the fundamental questions that had puzzled the Veil Tar for millions of years. Through their 1 year after first contact, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the newly constructed International Space Cooperation Station, watching as the last of Earth's military conflicts came to an official end. The signing ceremony was being broadcast to every nation simultaneously, marking humanity's successful completion of the Veil Tar Challenge. The transformation had been remarkable. Global poverty had been eliminated through a combination of resource redistribution and innovative sustainable technologies. Environmental restoration was proceeding ahead of schedule using biomimetic techniques inspired by the Veil Tar, but developed entirely by human scientists. Most incredibly, the world's nations had established a permanent peace treaty based on shared goals rather than territorial agreements. But Chen knew the real test was just beginning. Keeper Zethmore materialized beside her in the observation lounge, its crystalline form more defined than she had ever seen it. The Veil Tar's ability to project themselves across space still amazed her, though she had grown accustomed to their presence over the past months. Your species has exceeded our most optimistic projections, Zethmore communicated. The rate of social evolution we have observed in the past year typically takes centuries for other civilizations. Yet you have maintained your essential nature throughout the transformation. Chen smiled as she watched children from around the world playing together in the station's recreation areas, their laughter echoing through the corridors. We haven't changed as much as you might think. We're still competitive, curious, and occasionally stubborn. We've just found better things to compete about and be curious over. Indeed, Zethmore pulsed with what Chen recognized as amusement. Your species has discovered something we lost long ago. The ability to channel destructive impulses into creative ones. This is why we believe you are ready for the next phase. the next phase. Chen had been both dreading and anticipating this moment. The Veiltar had promised to share their advanced knowledge once humanity proved it could handle the responsibility. Now that moment had arrived, and with it, the greatest opportunity and danger in human history. Dr. Elena Vasquez joined them, carrying a tablet displaying the latest reports from research teams around the world. "The global integration is proceeding smoothly," she reported. "Educational systems are now fully interconnected, scientific research is being shared in real time between institutions, and the new economic models are showing remarkable stability. More importantly," she added with a grin, "we're seeing innovation rates that were previously thought impossible. When people aren't worried about basic survival or national conflicts, they can focus on truly remarkable projects." Zethmore's form brightened. "This is precisely what we hope to observe. Your species' creativity flourishes when freed from artificial constraints. We believe you are now ready to understand why we have taken such interest in humanity." The revelation that followed changed everything Chen thought she knew about the universe. The Veiltar had not always been the advanced, energy-based beings they were now. Millions of years ago, they had been biological creatures, much like humans, driven by curiosity and creativity to explore the cosmos. But their pursuit of technological perfection had come at a cost. They had gradually lost their ability to grow, to change, to surprise themselves. "We became observers rather than participants," Zethmore explained, as holographic displays showed the rise and fall of countless civilizations. "Our technology allowed us to transcend physical limitations, but in doing so, we transcended the very qualities that had made us who we were. We gained the ability to see all possible outcomes but lost the capacity to choose unpredictable ones. For 3 million years, we have searched the galaxy for a species that could break this pattern," Zethmore continued. "We have found many advanced civilizations, but all followed the same trajectory: technological transcendence followed by creative stagnation. Until now." Dr. Vasquez leaned forward, her scientific mind racing. "You're saying we might be the first species to achieve technological advancement without losing our essential nature?" "Not might be," Zethmore corrected. "You already have. The fact that you solved our challenges through cooperation, rather than domination, through creativity rather than force, proves that your species has found a third path." The implications were staggering. The Veiltar weren't just offering humanity their technology, they were offering partnership in a quest to revitalize the galaxy itself. Civilizations that had stagnated for millennia might be renewed through contact with human creativity and adaptability. But the offer came with conditions that would test humanity's character in entirely new ways. "The knowledge we possess could advance your civilization by millions of years overnight," Zethmore explained, "but such rapid advancement has destroyed every species that attempted it. Therefore, we propose something unprecedented, a gradual integration over multiple generations." The plan they outlined was breathtaking in scope. Selected humans would be trained in Veiltar science and technology, becoming bridges between the two civilizations. These human Veiltar hybrid consciousnesses would retain their humanity while gaining access to knowledge spanning galaxies. Over time, they would guide human advancement at a pace that preserved what made the species unique. Chen felt a chill of recognition. "You're asking us to evolve alongside you." "We are asking you to save us both," Zethmore replied with startling honesty. "Your species' continued creativity is essential to preventing galactic stagnation. Our knowledge and resources are necessary for your survival in a universe filled with challenges you cannot yet imagine. This partnership could benefit not just our two species, but every civilization in the galaxy." The proposal sparked intense debate among humanity's leaders and thinkers. Some saw it as the greatest opportunity in human history. Others feared it would mean the end of human independence. The discussions raged for weeks, broadcast globally as humanity grappled with its future. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: the children who had initially solved the global challenges. Now working together as an informal advisory group, they proposed a solution that embodied the best of human thinking. "Why choose just one path?" asked Maria Santos, a 12-year-old from São Paulo whose environmental solutions had helped save the Amazon. "Some humans could join with the Veiltar while others stay on Earth. Some could explore the galaxy while others perfect life at home. We're good at being different kinds of humans at the same time." The child's insight sparked a new model for human-alien cooperation. Rather than a single path forward, humanity would pursue multiple approaches simultaneously. Some would remain on Earth, developing their own technologies and societies. Others would join the Veiltar in exploring the galaxy. Still others would work to bridge the gap between the two paths, ensuring that advancement didn't mean abandonment of human values. Captain Chen was among the first to volunteer for the hybrid program, her existing mental link with Zethmore making her an ideal candidate. The process was unlike anything she had imagined, not a loss of humanity, but an expansion of it. She retained her memories, emotions, and essential nature while gaining access to knowledge and perspectives that spanned cosmic time. Through her enhanced consciousness, she could see the galaxy as the Veiltar did, teeming with life but lacking the spark of true creativity that drove growth and change. But she could also see something the Veiltar had missed: the potential for renewal that existed in every species, waiting to be awakened by the right catalyst. "We're not just bridging two civilizations," she realized during one of her expanded awareness sessions. "We're creating a template for how advanced species can rediscover their capacity for growth." The first joint human Veiltar expedition launched 2 years after first contact, with Chen serving as commander of a crew that included both enhanced humans and Veiltar entities. Their mission was ambitious: to contact one of the stagnated civilizations and attempt to reawaken their creative potential using techniques developed through the human-alien partnership. As their ship departed Earth's solar system, Chen looked back at the blue world that had given birth to a species crazy enough to think they could revitalize a galaxy. The planet now hosted multiple human societies, some focused on perfecting life on Earth, others preparing for cosmic exploration, all connected by shared values of creativity, cooperation, and controlled chaos. The transformation was far from complete. There were still conflicts, still resistance to change, still those who preferred familiar problems to uncertain possibilities. But the trajectory was clear. Humanity was evolving without losing its soul. The Veiltar had been wrong about one thing. They hadn't found a species that could break the pattern of technological stagnation. They had found a species that could rewrite the pattern entirely, creating new possibilities for growth that neither human nor alien had imagined alone. As the expedition ship entered faster-than-light travel using technology that merged Veiltar engineering with human intuition, Chen smiled at the irony. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to adapt and grow. Now they would use that strength to help an entire galaxy remember how to dream. The universe, it turned out, had been waiting for someone crazy enough to believe that impossible things were just difficult things that hadn't been figured out yet. Humanity was ready to show the cosmos what impossible really looked like. Behind them, Earth continued its own remarkable transformation, proving daily that advancement and humanity could coexist. Ahead lay civilizations older than imagination, waiting to discover that stagnation was not the inevitable price of wisdom. The real adventure was just beginning. Mental link. She began to see the galaxy as the aliens did, filled with the remnants of civilizations that had reached for the stars and lost their souls in the process. "We have a theory," Chen told Zethmore during one of their sessions. "Maybe the reason other species stagnate is because they think advancement means leaving their origins behind. Humans might be different because we carry our contradictions with us. We don't try to resolve them, we use them as fuel for growth. Elaborate on this concept, Zethmore requested, the patterns in its crystalline form shifting rapidly. Look at our history, Chen explained. Every great leap forward came from someone who refused to accept the conventional wisdom. We progress by questioning everything, even our own progress. Maybe that's what keeps us human even as we evolve. As Earth approached the moment when the Veiltar would judge whether humanity had passed their test, Chen realized that the real challenge was just beginning. The aliens had technology that could reshape reality itself, but they were offering something even more valuable, the chance to become something new while remaining fundamentally human. The question was whether humanity was ready for that responsibility, selves within a few centuries. We have intervened in rare cases where we believed a species might contribute something valuable to the galaxy. The implications hit Sarah like a physical blow. You're considering helping us? The decision has already been made, Zethmore replied. The question is not whether we will share knowledge with you, but how much your species can handle without losing what makes you unique. This is why you are here, to help us understand the limits of human adaptability. As their visit continued, Sarah realized that this encounter would indeed change everything. The Veiltar weren't just advanced aliens making first contact. They were galactic gardeners, nurturing promising species towards something greater. Humanity had apparently passed some kind of test they didn't even know they were taking. But as Zethmore showed them technologies that could solve every problem facing Earth, unlimited energy, faster-than-light travel, medical advances that could extend human life indefinitely, Sarah began to wonder if the real test was just beginning. How much could humanity change and still remain human? The weight of that question would follow them back to Earth, where the greatest challenge in human history was about to unfold.